What is up, guys? Welcome back to a Josh Day video, and welcome to a video that I will be speaking about and addressing some things. So basically, I get asked this question about once a day on like social media and in person, and it is regarding the Manchester City financial fair play charges. So basically, I have said financial fair play loosely in inverted in quotation marks, is because these are not financial fair play things. There is more to this than just financial fair, just FFP, than meets the eye to this, because it's a lot more serious and a lot more severe, and why we think as citizens and fans of Manchester City will think we'll be let off the hook, and why this is taking so long to grasp and process. Right, so for starters, this is also coming slight over recent activity between Everton and financial fair play and Notts Forest and financial fair play, where they have breached the spending cap as they are allowed to, and higher up the club is, the higher the spending cap is. Apparently, I don't really know the true scenario here, but basically with Manchester City, it is basically a fraud situation. So this is why it's more serious and led to a court case, because it is a fraud situation. Because the Premier League, I'm not holding City accountable because I don't really know the full story, but Man City may be held accountable, Premier League may be held accountable, and there's just some really sketchy, dodgy stuff in between sponsors and miscoordination between City and the Premier League and stuff, and why the quadruple will remain as it stands. So as you already know, last season we won the Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League, UEFA Super Cup and the FIFA Club World Cup. 5 trophies in 1 year. First time it's ever been done by a British football club. So if you're watching from United, just enjoy that sentence. So basically what happened was, this happened over a few years because apparently City's sponsor, so it's the sponsors behind City, so it isn't actually Manchester City, the club, it's actually the sponsors that are sponsoring the club where the issue is coming from, and why it's led to court cases, people being sued and this, that and the other. And this is why City isn't actually being held accountable for this. Well, 115 charges are, and I'm not even going to sit here and listen because I've got no idea what they all are. But what happened was, these sponsors saying they were giving Manchester City money, and in actual fact they weren't as such, or they weren't given the amount they said, and City just believed them. And this has just come to light recently, and led to this, and City realising that this isn't a bit dodgy and a bit sketchy, but it's all a bit too late, because the Premier League got involved, and City were like, because they didn't know that they weren't given the full amount they were saying, City were like going, oh yeah, it's fine, we've got this money, we've got this, that and the other. In actual fact, they didn't. So City aren't to blame in this situation, I believe, because this is why I'm a City fan, and we believe we'll get away with this because of the situation behind it, because the sponsors aren't giving the City the correct funding they were meant to be given, and such as they saying that, and they were leading to third-party companies as well getting involved and making this a lot more severe and worse. So this is why City's financial fair play breaches and investigation has gone on so long, is because they are trying to stitch together and find out the real truth. But from what I believe, it is from the sponsors behind City not funding the correct amount they were supposed to for their club to sponsor City, and City just didn't have the money because they weren't being funded in. I know it sounds a bit dodgy, but they are working in Abu Dhabi as well as we speak to try and resolve it over there as well, trying to deal with the embassies over in Abu Dhabi and the United Arab Emirates, and also here between the Premier League and Manchester City. We also have the world's best lawyers on our case, and they 100% back us, saying that it isn't our fault. This is like a third party situation that happened to come across our pathway. It's a bit like the Glazers situation, just a little bit like how they're just taking money out and United's just slowly trickling down the Premier League table. Basically, it's a bit like City's not been given the funding, and it's just like led to another thing. Hence why, unless we're not like Chelsea, who try and avoid it and will be investigated with their stupidly long contracts, like 8 years contracts lined up and stuff. But what they're going to do is they're just going to run themselves into no money, and then they're going to buy players, and they're just going to land themselves in a sticky situation, a bit like Manchester City and these FFP charges, because these aren't actual financial fair play charges, aren't actually linked with financial fair play. They're just linked, and this is why the Premier League fraud comes to mind, and saying, because the Premier League are saying it is financial fair play breaches they have committed, when in actual fact it was a scam on the sponsors' behalf of Manchester City, where the issue has come from, and Premier League would jump to a conclusion saying it was Manchester City, when in actual fact it is the sponsors behind the club that are making this problem come to light and stuff. But anyway, these charges aren't going to be heard until and we won't know what is going to happen until autumn time, when the biggest Premier League fixture takes place between Manchester City and the Premier League. And also this does give us enough time to claim back our title domination throughout all leagues, and also leading on to what would happen if we do get charged. I think if we do get charged, we'll just get a nice slap on the wrist fine, because if they can't really relegate us, because we'll just come within the season, we'll be back up, and then we'll be back in the Premier League charging for our titles. So so relegation is kind of a stupid move, because we're just going to dominate those lower leagues and we'll be back up before you know it. So relegation seems like a bit of a stupid assumption in my eyes, because it's like we're just going to be back up and then we'll be dominating once again. I can understand like banning them from, like, I would say go to as far as it might be banning us from buying players as such, maybe, so they can unstuff. Hence, this is also why Cole Palmer left Chelsea, because they wanted to try and get some money in as fast as possible before these charges got any worse. And so they got rid of Cole Palmer and such, and Riyad Mahrez, Ilkay Gundogan. These had to go because of City needed the money to try and sort out and try and balance out this scam behind the sponsors as such. So it does really upset me as a City fan, and all with these charges constantly being on the mention, and it's and also, if we do lose the Premier League title from last season, it will be an absolute shame to lose that trophy alongside that treble. Far as I know, it will still be a quadruple, because it is a Premier League investigation. So we will keep the FA Cup will be ours, the Premier League, the Champions League will be ours, the Super Cup will remain ours, and the Club World Cup will remain ours. So we will still be champions of Europe and champions of the world. So those chants from City will still continue and still be true as we go on to retain our title domination in all competitions, as we head into playing in a week's time. We play Tottenham Hotspur in the FA Cup, Burnley in the Premier League, and Copenhagen in the UEFA Champions League. And I cannot wait to tell you about the content this year throughout football related and stuff. There'll be loads of matches over the next 365, over the next 52 weeks. There may be like a month apart, 2 months apart. It just depends when I go, but there will be some football content and match reviews and stuff. Also, I will be going back and reviewing my matches I went to when I went to see FK Crvena Venezia or RB Leipzig in the UEFA Champions League at the Etihad Stadium. If you were there with, I did talk to a few people there, and genuinely they were absolutely fantastic games in my eyes. But back to my financial fair play talk. The reason why City are in this situation is because of the sponsors behind the club. And so if you're not really into Manchester City, you don't really support them, then you'll just think, oh, it's FFP charges. It is not. It is fraud. It is a fraud investigation from the sponsors, Premier League and Manchester City. So basically, the Premier League are promoting that it's financial fair play breaches, when in actual fact it's all been caused by a scam that has happened between one of the sponsors of Manchester City. I don't really know which sponsor it is. I just know it is a sponsor behind the club, saying that it's like, I have tons of money. In actual fact, they don't, and it's just led. So basically, I've just literally filmed the entire video of me explaining this scenario and about what's been going on and stuff. So this is going to be added in at the end of what I've just talking about, because this is just filmed after that video was taken. And it turns out the person who's behind the whole Manchester City scenario has just been assigned CEO of Manchester United. So if Manchester City were guilty in this case, why would United sign him as CEO? Like, why would they do that? So it makes zero sense to me. City, from my perspective, now are 100% innocent in this situation. Obviously, if you are innocent, they will get a hefty fine from. Obviously, Premier League will be fined, everything else will be fined, and Manchester City will be innocent, and they'll get a nice, hefty sum of money, and we'll be able to sign things. And I would love to see Cristiano. Honestly, if in this case, and City got the money to sign Cristiano Ronaldo, or like Lionel Messi, or Harry Kane or something, my God, that would be hilarious, and will be the best comeback and the best, like, haha, in your face move in the world, in my perspective. And so yeah, have fun, guys. So that's it for this. So back to past Josh with the outro to another. Anyway, I hope this video just clarifies and makes the process of this a bit more easier to understand as such, and I can't wait to see this football content very soon. I hope you've all had a very Merry Christmas and stuff. Videos will be back to normal very soon, and I enjoy it, and I can't wait for the football content in the future as well. So thank you for watching. You've been a Josh off. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you later.